Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel. And the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. I've got a beautiful pen to review for you folks today. You know, sometimes you're approached by pen makers and who ask you if you can encourage them in their pursuits and their new pen pursuits or pen making pursuits. And Harry from PANDORF approached me and said, would you like to review my pen? And I said, sure. And we went back and forth and communicated by email. And the individual seemed to me a very charming, hardworking and entrepreneurial type who said, you know, I've been, what's the story? I think since he graduated in 2013, he's been in the pen industry and he always wanted to, you know, create his own pen, something that was well crafted, well made, beautiful writing instrument. And I think he's finally done it. He started with a Kickstarter project and now he's selling his pen. And you know what? I've been approached by many people, and sometimes you go down the rabbit hole, you agree to review the pen, but the pen just doesn't give you that you know, that sharp writing experience that we're all looking for. But this one does, folks. It really does. He sent me two pens, two different colors. It is just a beautiful, gorgeous writing instrument that I really want to review in detail with you. So, you know, without any further ado, we've got a new player here, and I think a serious one. Fountain Pen Therapy is proud to present to you the Panda Dorf, the bamboo forest pen. Be right back. Okay, so we're back with the package, the pen, nice big box, Panda Dorf. There you have it. That's his logo. Essentially, that is a cloud smiling panda, and you've got the small Chinese character right there. You see that? That stands for fortune. So Panda Dorf, very, very nice touch, and you'll see that on the pen in just a few seconds. We open up. Cardboard box that reveals this beautiful interior box. Again, well branded, nicely finished box, hard cased, but paper product, so, you know, environmentally friendly. Nice green, and there is the pen. Let's take a look at some of this interior booklets. I believe this booklet, I took a look at it earlier. It's all in Chinese, but it does give some indication of, I think, the various parts of the pen and what's inspired. I'm sorry, I don't understand Chinese, but I can see that it's a Schmidt nib here, you know, and it goes through the finial, and we'll go through all of that in detail in just a few seconds. So that's the little booklet. In addition, provides a very, very accurate and friendly instruction booklet. It shows you how to fill the pen. It then indicates that you can unscrew that nib section for cleaning purposes, I guess, or for replacement of the nib. On the other side, it gives you instructions on how to, maintain the pen, clean it, etc. So again, nice touch. It's always nice to receive, a pen with instructions. But the real pièce de résistance, as they say, let's put the box aside, is this beautiful pen. Now, I have two colors. I'll show you the other one in a few seconds, but we're going to try to concentrate on this one. Okay, so first of all, you can see the logo. Look how nice that is. That cloud-shaped smiling panda with the fortune Chinese character. The clip, of course, is bamboo forest inspired. Nice touch. Stiff, but I think functional. But take a look at that barrel. I mean, that is gorgeous. And then, of course, that's what you see. That is a bamboo forest theme right there. You can see the leaves, small little leaves that are also appear on the box. All very nice touch. You can see that cloud motif around that center band, which you'll also see in the logo. It's a little bit everywhere. Nice finial, flat, and more decorative engravings there on this finial. It is a piston filler, so that's very, very nice. Functions very well. I believe I've inked this pen, so I don't want to manipulate the. Have I inked it? Maybe not. I'm not sure, but we'll take a look at it in a second. Let me just see how many turns. That's one. So, maybe even less than one. Let me just check that accurately. That's half, 3/4, one turn. Isn't that sharp? One turn. We'll take a look at that cap in a second. Beautiful section here. It's got a Schmidt nib. I understand that he's working on other nibs as well. I'm looking forward to receiving any additional nibs that he may come up with. It's always nice to have different nibs. And then there's that cloud-shaped, you can see my finger right through it there. It's an ink window. So there is no ink in here. So I think I can manipulate the, I think I inked the purple one. There's another one in a purple color. And you can see the barrel even better now. The piston filler. And if I did ink it, ink will come out, but I don't think I did. There you go. Really functions really nicely. Well done. I got to tell you, all the finishings are sharp. If you look at the cap, same thing. Nothing is sticking out. Everything is well done. It's hard to make a sharp looking and well built pen. Not easy. It's not an easy venture, and to embark on such a venture is always, a real challenge. And I think he's met his challenge. Harry, congratulations. I think this is an absolute gorgeous pen. Very comfortable. You can tell there's some weight in that piston, which just sits there in the crook of your hand. Very, very nicely, very comfortable. There's a little bit of a flare in that section, nib section. And the nib section is kind of satin finished, so it's not slippery at all. Very, very nice. Does it cap? Yes, it does. It's a little loose on the capping, unless I need to. Yeah, it's a little loose on the capping. And it does make it a little bit heavier, but you can survive if you want to. But I don't think this pen is meant to be posted unless there is some kind of a no, it doesn't sit there properly. So I don't think it's meant to be posted. It's a huge pen, so you don't need to post it in my view. Let's take a look at that barrel or that cap. Well, you can see the liner. And you can see a step down there as well for, make sure there's a seal. I believe there's a seal in there. Yeah, way down there. So we should not normally have a problem with dry nib issue. But all of that I will keep, as you know, I review my pens and then I keep revisiting them regularly in the weeks to come, and we'll give you more information should we have anything new to report. There is also a nice finish. Take a look at that Panda Dorf right there with the cloud motif right around it. You know, these are all little details, I think, that make this pen what it is. I really like that top finial. That is really sharp. It's all gold plated, and he mentions that it's, I've got some notes here, it's CNC machine gold plated. The clip is a bamboo motif as well. Gold plated PVD process, so physical vapor deposition. You know, you have a lot of major brands that brag about this. And so here is a new pen maker who's using, you know, the best processes and best systems. So congratulations, Harry. Really, really nice. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to compare this pen a little bit. Oh, maybe before we do that, let me show you the purple version. Here it is. For those of you who don't like green, I love green. I prefer the green one, frankly. The purple version is similar. Essentially, it's the same thing, just with a different color for the barrel and the cap. But there you have it. So we have both colors. I think both of them. Let's compare them to some other pens just to give you a sense of the size of this pen, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back with the pen and size comparison. I have several pens here to give you an indication or an idea of how big this pen is. As you can see, it's almost as big as my Dieman D5. It is very similar size to the Jinao 100, and the Dieman N25 I chose just because there's a very similar body there. Here's my Dieman D6 Han. You can see it's a little bit bigger, and it's essentially as big as an M800, maybe a little girthier, both in the barrel and in the cap. So there you have the pens capped. Okay, we're back. Here are the pens uncapped and unposted. I got to tell you, folks, that satin gold really, really is nice. It's a sharp pen with all the engraving. That barrel really looks sharp. I prefer the green over the purple. I think it brings out the bamboo a little more. But there you have it. In terms of size, as you can see, it rivals with all these pens. They're all basically the same size here. I'm not going to do a comparison with them posted because this pen is just not a poster. But there you have it. But just take a look at that. It's just gorgeous. Really, really nice. As I mentioned, sometimes you get pens and you struggle to make a reasonable review. But this one deserves all the praise. It's going to be one of my favorites, I can tell. But let's see how it writes. It's got that Schmidt German nib, so I'm expecting the best from it. But there you have it. And you can replace it. You can, have Schmidt mediums, broads. The Schmidt broads are really nice. Looking forward, Harry, I know you're working on a new nib. Please send me one so that we can share that with our viewers. But there you have it. That is the pen uncapped and unposted. We'll put up some measurements and then we'll get to the writing sample. Be right back. Okay, so we're back with the writing sample. First of all, the ink that I chose for the green pen, I thought I'd go with a forest motif. This is from Van Diemen's Enchanted Woods. Beautiful green with a little bit of shimmer in it. So, that's the ink. And the ink you can see in my ink swatch right there. So this should be fun. See what happens. I think the purple one, I forget what I inked it with, but I'm assuming that I went with Hiro Shisuku, the Yamabudo, I think I put in this pen. But we'll see. We'll test this pen as well. In terms of the paper that I want to use, As you folks may know, those of you who follow, I like to use, these days I'm using Krenna, Chinese paper, diary format. Really, really nice paper that more and more is winning me over as maybe the alternative to Tomo River paper, the original number 7 machined one. So let's start with the green one. After all, the green one is my favorite. This is the, oh, that's nice, Panda, Dorf, bamboo forest, now the nib is a number 6 steel Schmidt, German made, and it's a fine nib. You know, these Schmidt nibs are so underrated. I prefer them over Yowo and Bach, as you know. Ink, Van Dieman's, Enchanted Forest. Beautifully tuned. Let me just get a little closer here. There we go. The smoothness of the nib, right out of the box, is, you know, slight feedback, typical of Schmidt. But very, very smooth. Very nice writing experience with these Schmidt nibs. Good choice, Harry. Wetness. Very wet, as I like them, as you, the regular viewers know. In terms of bounce, well, Schmidt nibs don't have a bounce, but you can, if you push it a little bit, you can get some line variation, but, they're not meant to be flexible nibs, so... But in terms of flow or consistency, fast writing, as you can see, no issues. I like the little bit of sheen. You don't see it maybe in the camera, but you can see it. Look at that. Nice shimmer. Pen really brings it out. Reverse writing. Yeah, you can do something. It gives you what I would say is a very light, extra fine. Okay? Likes and dislikes. And dislikes. I love the design of this pen. You can see that a lot of thought has gone through the process, the design. The build quality is exceptional. Okay, I really like the barrel and cap material and the motif. I like the satin gold finish. For a steel nib, I also like the choice of Schmidt over Yowo or Bach, which are generally more expensive and really no added value in my view. Okay, and dislikes, for posters, does not post. So those of you who absolutely insist on having it posted, not sure. The clip is a little, is a little stiff, but it's very thin, so I would imagine that you can get material underneath that fairly simply. But I think you have to go with the motif, you have to go with the design as opposed to the functionality of the clip. And I think sometimes you have to sacrifice one for the other. So maybe the clip is not as flexible, but those are minor. In terms of value, the pen is not cheap. You can find it on Amazon.com. I will leave the link in my description. Because I'm Canadian, it tells me that, and I didn't check whether it's available on the Canadian Amazon site. The link that I was given is at Amazon.com, and it doesn't give me a price, but from what I understand, it's roughly $200, but you could check that yourselves. I think this pen is worth every penny. It's not a cheap pen, but neither is the build quality and the looks of it. Very, very nice. So, very nice. Let's take a look at the purple one and see, put that on this side, just briefly. I think I've inked it. Yeah, there we go. Panda Dorf. Again, this is the purple version. But as you can see, wow, for some reason this fine nib's got a little more spring to it. I just want to make sure that it's got a lot of very thick, fine line on that green one. Just want to make sure that maybe, yeah, no, they're both fine. Yeah, they're both fine. So I thought maybe one was a medium, just because it comes down. I think it's got something to do with that ink. So as you can see, both are very finely tuned. Whoop, you're not in view. Here we go. And the pen is so comfortable. Nice size, good weight, substantive, just like I like my pens. Really nice. So both of them write really nicely. There you have it, folks. That's the review of the Panda Dorf, the bamboo forest pens. Got to thank Harry. Thank you very much for sending us these pens, and thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to share them with my viewers. Folks, I think we've got another winner, but Harry, you can't stop here. You just can't stop with this. You've got to keep going. And by the way, the Chinese market is just very, very slow. So this is a welcomed, really welcomed change, and substantive, beautifully built pen. So I want to encourage all of you to encourage Harry to keep going so he can send us more models and for review, and wish him all the best. So that's it, folks. Thank you very much for joining me. Another great pen. Enjoy your pens, enjoy your paper, enjoy your inks. It's fountain pen therapy for all of us. Ciao.